A very good evening to all of you and welcome in the session of leadership and influence. And from so long, we have already been discussing about how leadership is directly related to influence. Anyone who has a question related to this, that why leadership is related to influence, how it is directly related to influence. Anyone having question? No? Okay, if you do not have the question, then I have a question for you that if you are telling that leadership is directly related to influence, then how and when the leader use that influential power? Can he use that influential power as and when he require, or it is just to make the people achieve the goal of the organization, that whenever the person want, the leader want the people to achieve the goal of the organization, that is the time they just focus on influencing the people. And what kind of leader use that influential power? Because today in today in leadership and influence, we are going to talk about the different types of leaders and their practices. So, what do you think that when these people are going to use their influential power? To all kind of leaders that, if you remember, we have studied about situational leadership, participating, selling. So, do you think all type of leaders use this influential power? Yes, all kind of leaders use this influential power to influence others, to influence the team for the positive outcome, not for the negative outcome. You know why they are influencing the people? They are influencing the people, they are influencing the followers so that they can deliver the best result. The team can deliver the best outcome. And that is why they focus on delivering, on influencing the people, and each and every leader, not only the leader in the organization, even the subordinate can use their influence power to get the work done. The basic motive and the main aim of influencing the people is to get the work done. So now in today's session, we are going to discuss about the different leadership styles. There are different leadership style. A leader follows that. Like if you can see the screen, there is transactional, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, transformational. So these are there are many different styles which a leader follows, and those leadership styles which we are going to discuss here. So every leader have their own style of dealing with the people, have their own style of getting the work done. Every leader, each and every leader who is on a leadership position, or maybe he or she is not on a leadership position, but they are leading the organization, every person is going to follow some or the other leadership style. So, here, the first leadership style which we are going to discuss is the transactional leadership. What is transactional leadership? Transactional leadership means it involves a clear exchange between the leader and the team members. There is the clear exchange of information. There is clear exchange of idea between the leader and the team members, between the leader and the followers. Let's say, for instance, in exchange of compliance and high performance, an employee might be rewarded with a promotion. So this is the clear exchange that, okay, if you are going to perform better, if you are going to deliver the best results, then you will be awarded, you will be rewarded with the promotion. So that is the clear exchange of idea, that is the clear exchange of information between the leader and the follower, that if you are going to benefit the organization with your work, then we are going to give you the rewards. That is how the things goes. So now, if you are talking about transactional leadership, here rewards and punishments are motivating for followers. Now, under transactional leadership, what motivates the follower is the rewards and the punishment. There are both the things which are going to motivate the followers, that is the reward. If they are doing good, if they are delivering good, then definitely they will be getting the rewards. But in case if they are not delivering good, if they are not delivering best, then they will be getting punishment for the same. So that is what is known as transactional leadership. So it is not only the positive which the leader is going to give to the employees, to the followers, but it is both positive as well as negative which the leader is going to give to the employees. So now if we talk about the second point says adhering to the instruction of the leader is the primary goal of the followers. Whatever the leader is saying, if the leader is saying that we are going to reward you with the promotions or with the increments, so that means the follower is supposed to listen to the instructions of the leader, and that is their primary goal. The followers' primary and the most important goal is to listen to whatever the leader is saying, because if he or she do not listen to what leader is saying, the reward, the clear exchange of information won't be possible, because it is something where we can say it's a give and take. Give the performance, take the rewards. So for giving the performance, one must adhere to the instruction, to the work, the responsibility, fulfill the responsibility, accomplish the task which the leader has asked the follower to do. Followers have to be monitored to ensure that performance standards are met. So this transaction, under this transactional leadership, for giving the rewards, as we are giving the rewards, it is important that the performance is regularly being monitored by the leader. Because if monitoring of the performance doesn't happen, if the leader do not monitor that what the person is doing, whether he or she is meeting the standards or not, he or she cannot give them the rewards. For giving them the rewards, it is important to monitor, to keep a track. Let's say there is a competition in the college, and if there are no judges to evaluate your performance, will they be in a stage to conclude that who is first, who is second, or who is eligible to be declared as the winner? No, they'll have to monitor you, they'll have to listen to you, they'll have to observe you. Then only they can give you the reward. Same way under transactional leadership, and it is a give and take relationship. between the leader and the team members. So it is important for the leader to monitor the performance of the followers, the performance of the employees individually to see whether they are meeting the standards or not. Now, in transactional leadership, there are following characteristics. The first characteristic of transactional leadership is extrinsic motivation. In transactional leadership, the leader, tries to motivate the person through money, rewards, recognition, trophies, promotions, or praise. These all these leaders can become overly reliant on the external form of motivation. They're completely reliant on these external forces, because if they are not going to provide these external sources of motivation, like if they're not going to provide them with the money, increments, promotions, recognitions, trophies, they cannot expect the increased efficiency or productivity of the employees. For increased efficiency, productivity, this transactional leadership is completely dependent upon the extrinsic, external sources of motivation to motivate the people to give their best, to deliver their best. You know, let's say we are giving the normal incentives, the casual incentives, those incentives might fail, but to increase the productivity and creativity, they will have to come up with these kind of extrinsic motivation. Second is practicality. They are very realistic considering all the constraints and obstacles. Practical means they are considering all the relevant obstacles, all the constraints which might come in the way of the employees, which might stop them from performing the best. So that is practicality. So they are very practical in their approach. This is again one of their characteristics, that this leader using this transactional leadership are very practical. They keep into mind all the obstacles and the constraints which are realistic, which might come in their path, and then only they decide about their performance, that what is the performance they are expecting and on what performance they'll be getting the rewards. Third is resistant to change. As we know, the transaction leadership rely on others. They can be resistant to change also. They might not want to change their tactics. They might not want to change their way of making the people work. They might be very rigid. you know for let's say, for example, they may strive to maintain the status rather than using the new ways of thinking and working. They know that if we are going to adopt the new ways of thinking, new ways of working, then it is definitely going to help to make the employees more productive, but they are not ready to do that. They simply are resistant to change. Whatever they have decided that this is the way I am going to work, they completely stick to those things. They do not focus on adopting the new ways of working. That means they are not flexible, they are not okay to change their way of working. They are very resistant to change. Fourth point says discourage independent thinking. Definitely, they are discouraging the independent thinking. How they're discouraging the independent thinking? How they discourage independent thinking? They discourage independent thinking because if you remember in the last thing when we were talking about the definition of transactional leadership, we have studied that they ask the people to do the work as in the way they want them to do. They do not give them the freedom to perform the task using their own decision making skills, using their own creativity, innovativity. No, they set the standards and they just want the followers to follow that path. So that means when you are asking the people to follow your path, when you're asking the people to work as per the directions set standards by you. So definitely somewhere you are stopping the creativity. You are stopping their independent thinking. You are not allowing them to think independently. You're not allowing them to use their own creativity thinking to perform the task in a better way. And one of the reason for discouraging independent thinking is resistant to change, because if they are going to encourage independent thinking and if results are going to be good by the way the followers are performing the task, they'll have to change, they'll have to adopt the new ways of working, and for that they are not ready, they are not flexible enough to adopt the new ways of working, and that is why they discourage independent thinking. They do not allow people to use their skills, their knowledge, their innovation, their creativity to perform the task. Rather, they just focus on getting the work done the way they want, because for them, no, whatever they think, whatever way they have decided is the best way of performing the task, and no other person can use the best way of performing or achieving the task. So that is why we say that yes, under this leadership style, one of the characteristic is they discourage the independent thinking. Reward performance. They do not see if the person has delivered good, but ultimately the final performance wasn't well, the final result couldn't be accomplished. For them, that doesn't matter. The only thing which matter is the final result, the final performance of the individual, how much hard work the person has put in. That is not considered to be a rewarding performance. They only reward those people who have performed the best, irrespective of the fact that the achievement is the joint achievement of all the people in the team. Constrained thinking, that is what constrained thinking meant. It stops the thinking of the people. It doesn't allow the followers, the team members, to think independently, to think creatively, and to be the part of decision making, to present their views, to give their feedback. That is not allowed. Constrained thinking, it stops the thinking. So you can say these leaders practice such a leadership style where they say you have to go right, then left, then right, and then stop. So even if person says that take if I'm going to go straight and take the last right, I'll reach the same designation. They're not ready to do that. They say, when I have told you to go from right, left, right, you have to follow the same path, no matter whether you have a shortcut, whether you have a creative way of doing that thing more quickly, skipping the steps. No, that is not acceptable under this transactional leadership style. So it constrains thinking. Next is passive. What do we mean by the passiveness? They are the one who avoid or delay taking necessary action when problem arises. And then, you know, they, because of them the delay had happened, then they refrain from awarding, they do not reward the people, and they punish the employees when they should be. So they are not, they are very passive. They avoid or delay taking the decision, and they do not accept, take the blame on themselves. Next is director. Yes, they are the director people because they direct the people that what work is to be done, how it is to be done, who is going to take that responsibility, who is going to perform that task. All the responsibility, all the things are being directed by the transactional leader only. He's the one who gives direction to the people about the work which is to be done. So yes, he is of a directive nature. You know, these transaction leader are the one who just uses their authority to the fullest. They cannot see anyone superior to them. So that is what is known as directive. Emphasize on corporate structure. This simply emphasizes on the corporate structure that okay, this is the structure which is followed, and they just stick to that. And less is emphasizes on self-interest. Yes, for them, in whatever thing they are interested, they emphasize on self-interest rather than emphasizing on the interest of the followers, interest of the team members. For them, the interest of followers, the interest of team member is not of any use for them. Their own self-interest is above everything. So it is, they emphasize, yeah, it is, they emphasize only on their own self-interest. Now, these are the characteristics of transactional leadership. Now, every leadership have pros and cons, have positives and negatives. So, if we talk about transactional leadership, the positive, the pros and cons of transactional leadership are, the pros is, one first pro is positive is, can be an effective way to reach short-term goals. Now, if uh, they want to reach these short-term goals, then one of the way of achieving or reaching one of the way of using, one of the place where you can use this transactional leadership style is when you achieve, when you want to achieve these short term goals. You know, when you really want to achieve these short term goals, it is easy to work on that, to use this transactional leadership style. But when you want to achieve long term goals, when you are running into the, running in the long term race, there this transactional leadership will not work, because for a longer duration people will not love to work under a leadership where they are not allowed to use their creativity, where they are not allowed to use their own thinking. So we talk about transactional leadership positive. So for short run, definitely this is one of the best leadership style which the person can practice. The second is, it clearly defines expected behavior from team members due to system of rewards and punishment. So when we are talking about the transactional leadership, so it is clearly going to define the expected behavior from team members, that okay, this is the behavior which I expect from you, this is what you are supposed to do, and if you are doing this, then you will be getting rewarded. But in case if you are unable to achieve that, in case you are unable to do that, then ultimately you will be getting punishment. They will be punished for not achieving or fulfilling the work or the task on time. So again, it is one of the positive side, because under this leadership, each and every person is very much clear about the roles and responsibilities which they have to accomplish, roles and responsibilities which they have to do. So under this transactional leadership, it is a transparent communication regarding the roles and responsibilities of the employees. And last is provide structure and stability. Yes, the structure, the complete structure is designed, and the stability is also there when we are talking about the transactional leadership style. Now, what are the cons of a transactional leadership style? It limits creativity, growth, and initiatives. How it is limiting the creativity, growth, and initiatives? How it is limiting that? It is limiting the creativity, growth, and initiative, because here the leader is telling you everything, that this is the path you have to follow, this is how you have to work, these are the standards which you have to meet. So everything is well planned, everything has been spoon feeded. Now when you are getting everything spoon feeded, so how are you going to use your own creativity? Right, there is going to be a big full stop or pause on your creativity, on your creative side, isn't it? It is going to put a pause. It is going to stop your creativity, and that cannot run. This is absolutely right. That is why we say that this transactional leadership is good for short term goals, but it cannot be used in the long run, because no one would love to work under the leadership style in the organization where their growth is stopped. They do not get the chance to initiate new things. Their creativity is not valued. No one would love to work under such leadership styles. So that is why we say that it limits the creativity, growth, initiative, innovation of the people. May not be impactful on people who aren't driven by extrinsic motivation. Yes. There are many people who do not want extrinsic reward. For them, their satisfaction, their intrinsic reward, the power, the freedom, participating in decision making process, working in their own way, is what which motivates them. For all, this extrinsic motivation is not the motivational factor. And if this extrinsic motivation is not the motivational factor for many, then definitely you cannot generate the results. You won't be able to make your team productive. Let's say out of five, you have three people who are not driven by the extrinsic motivation. For them, this leadership style will not work. Their efficiency, productivity will be reduced, because for them, their intrinsic motivation says we have to show our creativity. We cannot work in the environment where our creativity, growth, and initiative are not valued, where our growth is stopped, our learning options are stopped. Cannot work. So they are not going to be productive and efficient. It can be discouraging for those who are looking for professional and personal development opportunities. So, yes, if we talk about the beginners, definitely for beginners, the extrinsic motivation, the money can be the driving force. But let's talk about the people who are already earning a good package, who are already settled, and who are already satisfied. It's not about settling, but yes, they are already satisfied with whatever they are having. So if we talk about those kind of people, then yes, it becomes very discouraging for those who are looking for professional and personal development. because many people just join the organization for the sake of personal as well as professional development only. They are not looking, they're not willing to work in the atmosphere, in the environment where their personal professional growth is stopped. And under this leadership style, personal professional growth is stopped. So these are the pros. For this, we have completed the transactional leadership style. Next come is the bureaucratic leadership. This is based on 6 core tenets. What are the 6 core tenets? Hierarchy of authority. What do you mean by hierarchy of authority? They are very specific about the hierarchy of authorities. Under this bureaucratic leadership style, hierarchy, what do you mean by hierarchy? Hierarchy means, in every organization, there's a hierarchy, that top level, bottom level, then the ground level. So there are different hierarchy which is practice, which is there in each and every organization. So this leadership style is based on that hierarchy of authority only, that there is a chain of command which clearly defines the roles and responsibility for each and every person. When we are talking about the hierarchy of authority, every person, each and every person will have the defined roles and responsibility expectation with each and every person in the hierarchy, depending upon the level on which they are. Second is division of labor and task specialization. This leadership style completely focuses on putting the most appropriate person in the specific position. Let's say you have got a new project, and if they feel that this person is having the best experience, it is going to be the best resource of delivering that project, then they are going to pick up that person. They are very specific about appointing the right person, giving the right person the opportunity, the responsibility of performing the task. And that is why we say that it focus on putting the most appropriate person in that specific position. Third tenet says formal selection. Employees are hired, fired, promoted, rejected based on their experience, performance, and adhere to the regulation. There's a very specific formal selection process which is adopted under this leadership style. That whenever they are hiring someone, they're firing someone, there is a specific reason of hiring or firing someone, or selecting or promoting someone, that these are the things, these are the tasks which they have done, and on that basis they have met the expectation, they deserve to be promoted. So there's a very formal selection method, and which is common, same for everyone. This is a selection method which everyone has to follow, so everyone follows that formal selection method only. Next is career orientation. So definitely each employee has the opportunity for the long-term career, and they provide them to follow the rules and perform well. They can get the best, they can deliver the best, but for them, they have to abide by the rules and regulation, and in that boundary. They have to perform their best. So they have lot under this leadership style. They provide ample opportunities for the long-term career if they abide by the rules and regulation of the organization. If they are not going against the rules and regulation of the organization. Next is rules and regulations. So the system requires a definite set of rules, established rules, clear rules, regulation, and the process to maintain to be followed within the organization, no matter on which hierarchy you are, whether you are the subordinate, whether you are on the top level of the hierarchy. But there are some basic rules and regulation which are designed, which are framed in the organization, and each and every person in the organization is supposed to follow, abide by those rules and regulations. No one can come and say that I am the director or I am the manager or I'm C of the company, so these rules and regulations are not applicable on me. No, no matter what position you are holding, on which position you are sending, you are supposed to follow the rules and regulations set by the organization, because these are the rules and regulations which are set for all the employees working in the organization, irrespective of the hierarchy of the authority, irrespective of the designation they are holding. And the last trait, last and last course is impersonality. The main focus on the organization is on the organization and on the performance, not on individual contribution. Now, here, let's say out of 10, 5 have performed really well, but because of the 5 who didn't perform well, the overall performance of the organization is effective. So that contribution is not of any use, because here under this bureaucratic leadership style, it focuses on the organizational performance, organization and their performance, the performance of the organization, rather than focusing on the individual performance, individual contribution within the organization. I do not value, I do not consider the individual performance. So if we talk about bureaucratic leadership style, what is bureaucratic leadership style? It is a style which relies on the clear chain of command, strict regulations, and confirmation by its followers. There are strict rules and regulations which are to be followed by everyone. There is a proper chain of command that, okay, this person is going to give command to this is going to give command to this. And along with the proper chain of command, it is the clear, transparent chain of command only, because everyone knows that who is their immediate commanding person, who is their immediate boss, who is going to give them the roles and responsibility, or who is their immediate person to whom they are going to report. So that thing is very clear to each and every person in the organization. So if someone asks you about bureaucratic leadership, like we just discussed about the transactional leadership. Now, if we talk about the transactional leadership, this leadership involves the clear exchange of information between the team and the leader, and it is performance based. Like if you are performing best, you will be getting rewarded for the work which you have done. But if we talk about bureaucratic leadership style, it is, or it relies on the clear chain of command and overall performance of the employees and confirmation by the followers. Strict rules and regulations are made which are to be followed. So here, if you are going to see the bureaucratic leadership style, nowhere they are talking about the extrinsic motivation, monetary benefits, rewards, recognition. They're not talking about that, because here it is all about the rules and regulation, the hierarchy of the organization. So wherever you will see, whether you talk about hierarchy, division of the work, formal selection, career orientation, impersonality, everywhere you will see that rules and regulation are something which are playing very important role under this bureaucratic leadership style. I hope this bureaucratic and transactional leadership style is clear. Do you have any doubt related to bureaucratic or transactional leadership style? The six cores, bureaucratic leadership style, we are yet to discuss about the characteristics, the pros and cons of bureaucratic leadership style. But if I talk about this six tenets of bureaucratic leadership style, that is clear, right? We're just going to have a quick overview about the bureaucratic leadership style characteristics. So it's well-structured management, a formal hierarchy structure, strong minded and courageous, task oriented, hard working. So basically, we talk about bureaucratic leadership style. The bureaucratic leadership style just have these five characteristics. And in all the five characteristics, you will see that it is focusing on the rules and regulation and delivering the best performance, achieving the goals of the organization. It is not focusing on individual person. It is not focusing on individual motivational factors. Right. So well structured management. Yes, when we are talking about well structured management, the management is well structured because there is a proper hierarchy which they are following. They have the clear, transparent communication chain that, okay, this is the hierarchy, these are the immediate reporting person, and these are the person who stands in the hierarchy. So it is well structured. Formal hierarchy structure is also there, that there's a formal way of communication. Directly an employee or follower cannot directly go and contact the director or the manager. There's a proper hierarchy which one has to has to fulfill. Strong minded and courageous, that they need strong minded and the courageous people, because here it is not about the individual contribution, it is about the organizational performance. Same way they are, or we this leadership style focuses on the organizational performance. That is why it is task oriented and it requires hard working people only. So we are going to discuss about these characteristics in detail in the next session of leadership and influence. So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. If you have any doubt related to today's session, you can definitely get back to me. Yes. Okay, bye bye. Have a wonderful day.